Hello and welcome to day 9 of Camp NaNoWriMo and VEDA. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about for a minute is procrastination. Yesterday, on day 9, I joined writing sprints with the cabin I'm in, hashtag cabin writertube. We had a blast. I got a lot done. I did, however, take a break from the writing sprints, to cook dinner, eat dinner with my husband and my son, and watch a movie. We watched The Punisher on Netflix. John Travolta is awesome as bad guy, by the way. Great version of that movie. My son says the extended version shows a little bit more, so now I want to watch the extended version. But that wasn't procrastination. That was trying to find some balance in all aspects of my life. So I wanted to kind of cover one of the things, though, that has been bothering me, as well as a number of other people. People have messaged me on Facebook and on YouTube and sent me emails about procrastinating and about self-doubt. And most people procrastinate because they're afraid. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid that their writing isn't going to be good enough. They're afraid that that they might actually succeed. If you start working on it like at full capacity, like a workaholic, then you start thinking about like what comes next. Then you're talking about the editing process, and you're talking about other things. Some people delay their writing because they're afraid that they just don't have the words, or they're afraid like, okay, for example, writing is a really solitary endeavor for the most part. And sometimes we need to feel connected to other people, so we procrastinate by checking social media, by email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All these things are out there, and it helps keep us connected. So when I pull up Scrivener on my computer, I have already spent about at least 30 minutes to an hour checking all those social media things, so I don't feel like I'm missing something, or I don't feel like I haven't connected already. I also have noticed that sometimes writing puts like sort of a barrier between you and the rest of your life, your world. Especially if you're like me and you have a separate area, a writing room, or that is away from the rest of your home and the people that are in your house, you feel disconnected. So, how do you feel connected? Well, you go spend time with them, and then you're away from the writing. So you feel guilty if you're writing, you feel guilty if you spend time with them. It's sort of a vicious cycle. I have noticed that there's also fear of the blank page. And a lot of people refer to this as like writer's block, but I don't think it's necessarily writer's block so much as it is just fear that you're not going to have the words, or that those words aren't going to be perfect, that, you know what, it doesn't matter if the words are perfect. I had a really hard time with that, a very hard time, as a matter of fact. And I have one of the best pieces of writing advice that I have been given thus far is to start writing 10 or 15 minutes of free writing, brainstorming about your character or your setting, the last part of what you wrote, like the last scene you wrote. Read over that and then write about what you thought about it, or write about what you think might happen next. Don't get so hung up on writing your actual piece, like the scene or the next chapter. As you free write, as you brainstorm, that will just, your mind will get into that zone about the writing, and it will open up more, and it might help, because by then, after you've written for, I don't know, 10 or 30 minutes, somewhere in between, after you've done that, that page is no longer blank, and then you're not so afraid anymore of that blank page. Now, I will say that if you are procrastinating because of whatever reason, and you're using social media or everything else but writing reading, going out with your friends, or whatever, the writing isn't going to get done unless you do it. One word at a time, that's how you write. One word at a time. That's how you write. One sentence at a time, one paragraph at a time, one scene at a time, one chapter at a time, one book at a time. Now, some of us can write multiple books and we can go back and forth. Some of us can't. Some of us can multitask. Some of us can't. I can focus on more than one thing at a time, but I know that the more things that I focus on, the less focus I have on a major thing. My attention is going to be more towards this, that, or the other. It's divided. So something is going to get a lot less of my attention, and it needs to be the priority thing that's getting my attention. So if I art journal while I watch television, one or the other of those is going to suffer if I'm putting too much detail into something. So usually when I art journal and watch TV, I'm putting stickers, or I'm gluing, or I'm putting washi tape down, or I'm drawing regular things that are very easy for me to draw. When it comes to the more detailed stuff, I save that for when I'm by myself and I don't have to focus on anything else but that. When I'm writing or taking notes, and it's not the writing of my actual novel when I'm watching television or spending time elsewhere, like with family or my, I only jot down notes or something that comes to my mind, like if I get a really big idea or I have something for my character or something for my setting, I'll write down notes. I keep the notebook beside me and I write down notes when I'm watching television, or, when I go places, I keep a notebook with me at all times and I write down those ideas. Now, that helps keep my mindset on the positive and away from so much of the negative, because I may have only written 450 words in the actual project on Scrivener for my novel. But in my notebook, I wrote, 100 words. And later I can go and put that in I have a folder that says ideas, information, that kind of thing. And I can go back and put that in, or put it into the scene or whatever, put it into the setting. And those are words that I wrote. So that 100 words goes onto my 450 words. So I have actually written 550 words that day, not just the 450. So if you're having trouble with a blank page or with procrastinating, why are you having the trouble? Because there's an underlying reason. For me, most of my big problems were self-doubt. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I was talented enough. I didn't think that anybody would care about what I wrote, and I didn't feel any support, and I just didn't believe in myself. And I was afraid that once I started writing, like I said, it wasn't going to be good enough, or what if I actually did succeed? Then you're talking rejection letters. Well, that's after the editing. So I had to get past that part. Now I spent 10 years away from, at least 10 years away from writing fiction, and 20 plus years, 30 years, something like that, away from art altogether because of self-doubt. I have also procrastinated because of self-doubt, because of fear. And self-doubt has to do with fear. We are good enough. You don't have to be published to be a writer. You don't have to be the next Stephen King or Danielle Steele or Brandon Sanderson or Patrick Rothfuss or J.K. Rowling to be a good writer. You just have to be yourself, and you have to write. If you don't get the words down, So I hope you guys have a good one. That's my thing for today. So far we've talked about balance. We've done character arcs. Now we've done procrastination. I think next maybe we'll talk about setting. Maybe. I'm not sure. If you have any ideas or you have some questions, please comment below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And have a good one. Bye.